Collective. Here's a little 9-minute video for those that just don't understand but need to overstand. They fucked with the wrong vessel. Now the old gods are moving. Okay? This is to let these people that's not spiritual, let's let them know how this shit really hit like when they come fucking with the wrong vessel. Y'all think I'll be making that shit up when I say go find a lesser vessel to fuck with. Well, you're going to hear from someone else's mouth what you activated and what you did. Like, share, thumb up the video. This is for the chosen ones and for the karmics. Okay? Also, thumb up the video. Thank you for joining. She's dropping the tea. Shut the front door, tarot. Here's a little 9-minute clip of my spiritual sister letting it be known about these ancient souls, which is us, which is me. Okay, and a few like me. Okay, definitely her. Okay, but here it is.
Figured out what you've been hearing all along. Chosen one, they didn't just do a spell. These people trespass into an ancient agreement, one that predates their entire lineage. Okay, and damn near this dimension. This wasn't just gossip. Okay, this wasn't just energy work. This wasn't even a ritual. See, Spirit considers this a spiritual treason against a soul like yours that's already sealed in flame, against a vessel that heaven marked, okay? That the earth armored, that the blood anointed, okay? Stop playing with my chosen ones. See, your enemies thought they were hexing a person, but what they activated is a divine protocol. A multi-dimensional tripwire that makes their ancestors eat, and their little spirits scatter like roaches. See, let me remind you who you are, okay? Tap the fuck in. Whoever I'm talking to, you're not just a gifted. You are a carrier of divine judgment codes. A spiritual landmine disguised as a soft soul. See, you don't perform rituals, you embody them. You don't just see spirits, you command them. Whoever I'm talking to, you are born a descendant of the flame crown line. You're a vessel with names encoded in your bones older than the sun. You're a soul that walks with spirits that haven't been seen since the fall of the old world, okay? Now, let's talk some signs. People get sick after arguing. Animals, children act differently around you. In fact, children stare at you as if they're remembering something. Death follows betrayals against you. You're calm, okay? Your indoor voice makes the room tremble. Your enemies didn't know that you were anointed, that you were sealed in the blood. And now they're finding out what happens when you come against a living altar. Let me tell you where they fucked up at. Here's what they did. They spoke your name with venom. They linked your photos to mirror magic. Some of them even used sex to siphon off of your anointing. They sent little spirits to infiltrate your dreamscape. They conjured all types of demons and principalities over jars, okay, pots, offerings, blood. And here's where they fucked up at. They activated divine surveillance. They exposed themselves to your ancestral spirits for coming out sideways against you. And they triggered a blood contract that they didn't even know existed. See, the spell that they cast wasn't just blocked or chosen. It was witnessed, okay, by your dead, by your guardians, by the ancestors that was just waiting for the signal to strike, okay? The ancestors that was wishing a motherfucker would. Your enemies broke a covenant, okay? And that was judgment season. Spirit says that the retaliation has already begun.
Wow.
Heads up, your first real estate deal shall not, repeat after me,
Hold on.
Leaking like a broken jar. Their health bleeding at the gums, waking up in cold sweats. Their dreams haunted by spirits, haunted by spirits that they sent out that no longer accept their authority, okay? And their relationships, yeah, turning on them one by one. 404 on the timer, Spirit says the mirror cracked because they couldn't lie about you anymore. The entity they sent to your house is kneeling at your altar right now. The sickness in their bloodline began the day they uttered your name out of their mouth. Their altar is cold, their home is haunted, and their tongue that was once very sharp is rotting at the root. Because you don't curse the priest or priestess that has storm water at their mouth. You don't summon spirits against a soul that walks with law keepers, okay? Even the demons are bound now because they remember you from before. Now let's talk about you, baby. You, chosen one. You are rising. Not just from their ashes, but from your own. The attempt to destroy you, chosen one, has activated your new form. Spirit says you are hearing in new frequencies. Spirit says time is collapsing for you. You are seeing the future, the present, and the past all at once. Spirit says you are being offered divine contracts in dreams now. And Spirit says you are being positioned into dominion, okay? Not survival mode. Spirit says your gifts are intensifying, okay? The messages are coming through clearer, they're clarifying. Baby, you are becoming dangerous in the best way possible, okay? Stop playing with my chosen ones. And the divine is now going to be funding your next moves. You are a divine weapon, chosen one, and your enemies trigger it. Touch not my anointed, and do my prophets no harm. Ain't that what that book said? You don't bind what was born from the unbindable. You don't curse a vessel that is forged in fire and bone. You don't trespass into spiritual contracts that your bloodline or your spirit has no clearance for. You don't touch a chosen one who walks with names older than the sun. And to those who tried, you launched the first attack, but the chosen one will deliver the final blow. Because they didn't just fuck with a person. They fucked with a seal, with a prophecy, a living altar. And now the old gods are moving. If this spiritual transmission was yours, I'm gonna need you to drop a fire emoji in the comments. If you've been feeling your power rising, if you've been waking up at 3 a.m. with names that you don't even know, if you've been feeling your spirit team reorganizing around you, this is your confirmation. Your enemies activated something that they could not undo. And your throne, baby, is no longer optional. Now repeat after me, or let your spirit repeat it for you. I was not born to be touched. I was born to be remembered. I am a sealed vessel of the Most High. I am untouchable. I am a blood-marked one, named before the veil, protected after the fall. Every hand that reached for me with arrogance now burns with unanswered access. Every altar that was invoked against me is now rotting at its root. Every tongue that dared to curse me now tastes dust. I revoke all false permissions. I recall my spiritual body from all thrones that I never agreed to sit at. I do not belong to your spell, your mirror, your fantasy, or your plans. I am the flame goddess. The voice that wakes old gods, sleeping gods. And I command now, everything that was return now to me, everything that was stolen. Collapse all that was conjured. Seal that was all that was. Let every pact that was made in my name. Without my soul's permission. be broken
Be
and
broken and
consumed
consumed by the fire.
and let it be reclaimed by the law of light.
And let it be reclaimed by the law of
From
light.
this breath forward,
From this breath forward,
I walk as the anointed,
I walk as
not
the
hunted,
anointed,
not hidden,
not hidden,
not harmed.
not harmed.
I am the reckoning that they never saw coming.
I am definitely
I
the
am
reckoning
vessel
that they
that
never
should
seen
have
coming.
never touched.
I am the
And now I rise,
person.
crowned by what cannot be cursed.
Now I
And
rise.
so it is, sealed by the blood, witnessed by the old, and returned to the chosen. That is all I have for you guys. Sending you guys massive amounts of love, massive amounts of healing, and like I always say, the strong must protect the sweet.
Okay. Like, can I'm gonna let y'all get a little piece of this, okay? This is about everyone is panicking, okay? And they moving like, I guess they moving like rats. Who knows? But we gonna see what he's saying because I can't see the whole description. But this is the Joker right here, okay? He always got something witty to say about these karmics, okay? And what they doing in the background, okay? Which is basically, you know, just confirmation about what we already be saying on YouTube with the cards, okay? This is just confirmation, okay? This is confirmation, what has already been said.
Back, architects of aftermath. The world is trembling in its polished shoes. There's smoke in the sky, fire in their boardrooms, and static in their perfect little plans.
Look
The
at
noise,
Joker.
it's everywhere. Sirens, alarms, messages marked urgent, voices cracking under pressure. But not you. No, you're walking through the wreckage like you painted it. Like this chaos was signed by your own hand. Everyone's panicking, and you're moving like you planned this. They're pacing in circles, checking rules that don't apply anymore, clutching their routines like lifeboats, hoping they still float in this new ocean of uncertainty. And there you are, silent, still, sharp, watching them drown in the very systems they built. The funny part, they think something went wrong. But what they never realized was, you were never playing the same game. You weren't in the crowd. You were in the control room, rewiring the stage lights. You didn't join the chaos. You unleashed it. See, they were taught to chase comfort, obey blueprints, worship the predictable. And you learned to breathe in disorder. You learned that when the script burns, only the real ones remain standing. You never feared the collapse. You calculated it. You baited it. And now that it's here, you're not surprised. You're not shaken. You're ready. You knew their rituals were fragile. You studied their gods, money, control, applause. And you realized if you just tap the right piece, the whole altar falls. And now it's falling. They can't believe you're still calm, still thinking, still walking. Because they don't understand. This is not your disaster. This is your design. You let them laugh when you were quiet, when you were sharpening the blade in the dark, when you were listening while they barked. They confused your silence with weakness, mistook your patience for absence. And now, the smoke is rising. Their eyes are wide. And you're standing where they never expected you to be. At the center. Not watching the fire, but commanding it. You didn't come to compete. You came to rewrite the metric. They're worried about the rules, and you're out here rewriting the game board itself. They're trying to survive. You're about to thrive in the wreckage. Because you need the chaos. You train in the unknown. You build from the ashes. And this panic, it's just a playlist you already danced to in your mind 100 times before they even saw the first crack. They never noticed how you operated in silence, how you vanished when the noise began. Because while they were reacting, you were preparing. When they rushed to speak, you learned to observe. When they scattered, you became still. and stillness, when mastered, becomes the most terrifying force in a collapsing world. Look at them, scrambling to hold together what you already outgrew. They're duct-taping empires, repeating scripts, offering fake optimism like bandages over bullet holes. And you aren't buying it. You aren't part of their illusion. You are the one breaking it, quietly, brutally, elegantly. And while they beg for normal to return, you've already built a throne in the abnormal. You've learned to feed on discomfort, and what they fear most, you wear it like a second skin. You aren't here to calm the fire. You are here to become it. You aren't here to join the rebuilders. You are here to redesign reality. You aren't the glitch. You're the new code. Let them whisper theories. Let them search for who's responsible. Let them gather in war rooms, run simulations, prepare speeches. They can't see it. They refuse to see it. That the game was compromised the moment you stopped trying to win it. The moment you decided to end it. You see the fear in their eyes. The realization that you aren't improvising. That you're executing. That you knew this storm was coming, and instead of hiding, you sharpened your mind, hardened your resolve, became a walking detonation, disguised as discipline. This is the power they'll never understand. The ability to move as if the chaos was rehearsed. That ability terrifies them, because it means you're no longer reacting to the world. It means the world is now reacting to you. Your calmness isn't stillness. It's pressure under control. It's thunder held behind locked teeth. It's fury that doesn't waste time with noise. And when you finally move, the ground will remember. You were never one of them. You were always watching from the ledge, learning their patterns, smiling at their arrogance, and when the first domino fell, you didn't flinch. Because you were the one who placed it. Let them run, let them yell, let them panic like trapped prey. You don't need to chase. You set the maze. You designed it with silence and strategy. And now, they're spinning inside your architecture, looking for exits that don't exist. Because this wasn't about fitting in. It was about waiting for the moment when everything collapsed, and stepping out as the one who saw it coming. The one who made it happen. You're not surprised they're breaking. You're surprised it took them this long. What they built was always fake. That's why it cracked under pressure. What you've built inside you can't be broken. You didn't build yourself in public. You built in shadows, in loss, in silence, in restraint. And now, you're not adapting to this new world. You are the new world. They'll say it's coincidence, that you're just lucky. But deep down, they know. You didn't stumble into this moment. You didn't guess right. You engineered this outcome while they were chasing trends. You were anchoring your core while they floated in vanity. You were preparing the storm inside your skin. And now, they watch you move through the panic, like you wrote the script. Like every falling piece lands where you knew it would. And it terrifies them, because it means this chaos isn't random. It means it's being led, not by them, not by luck, but by you. And this is just the opening scene of your uprising, because what's coming next is the part where you stop walking and start commanding. The part where your name isn't just whispered in confusion. It's feared in every corner of the collapsing order. You've done enough watching, enough observing, enough quiet. You've played the role of the underestimated specter long enough. Now it's time to cash in every ounce of restraint you ever swallowed. No more sidelines, no more surgical moves, no more measured steps. From here on out, it's domination. Executed with surgical precision and terrifying clarity. They're going to say you changed, that you've switched, that you're acting different. But what they don't realize is, this is the real you. This is the version of you that was always caged by politeness, shackled by patience, and muzzled by fake diplomacy. You tolerated their noise. You endured their arrogance. You bit your tongue while they painted you as someone you never were. But now the mask is off, and they don't like what they see, because it exposes everything they're not. The moment they panicked, they revealed their blueprint, their fear, their insecurity, their desperation. It all came spilling out like an unsealed envelope. And you didn't even flinch, because your whole life has been a training ground in psychological warfare. Every betrayal sharpened you. Every dismissal sculpted you. Every delay taught you timing. And now, your instincts are deadlier than their entire strategy. You're not here to impress. You're here to undo. You're here to shatter their illusion that order is power, when in fact, adaptability is. And while they were addicted to predictability, you were mastering unpredictability. They can't compete with that.
Tell me about Chipotle.
Hold on.
Yeah, we cook. We actually cook it. We make her fresh daily.
Okay, I'm push playback again.
You were mastering unpredictability. They can't compete with that. Because what do they attack when they can't read you? What do they control when they can't measure you? They have no grip on the battlefield anymore. Because the battlefield is you. You're the new constant, the unexpected element in every room, the presence that makes egos glitch and masks peel. You show up, and the dynamic changes. Conversations shift, strategies stall, people fumble, not because you speak louder, but because your silence has gravity now. They feel it, that edge, that calm rage, that composure that shouldn't exist in this much chaos. That's the kind of presence that can't be bought, copied, or countered. It has to be earned. And you earned it in the dark, when no one clapped, when no one believed, when it was just you facing yourself. And now, they're facing you, but they're not ready, not even close. Because here's what they'll never understand. You didn't prepare for the moment. You became the moment. You are the consequence of everything they ignored, mocked, and overlooked. And now it's time for the reckoning they never scheduled. You don't need announcements. You don't need approval. Your very existence in motion is a declaration of war. Not against people, not against systems, but against limits. Every limit they placed on your name. Every wall they thought would contain your reach. Every false story they tried to tattoo on your identity. Burn it all. Because this is the season where you do not blink. Not for emotions, not for nostalgia, not for the weak apologies dressed as concern. They had their chance to understand you, to stand beside you, but they gambled you were too humble to rise, too patient to strike, too grounded to dominate. And now, they're learning what it feels like to miscalculate destiny. You aren't angry, you're clear. And that's even more dangerous. They expect emotion. They're bracing for a storm. But you bring a drought. You bring nothing. No explanations, no warnings, just action, just results. Just moves they can't reverse. You don't play loud games. You play final ones, quiet endings, sudden exits, power shifts that leave them wondering when it all changed. But the truth is, it changed the moment you stopped explaining yourself. You used to seek validation. Now, you seek alignment. You used to negotiate your value. Now, you name your worth and walk away if it's not met. You used to second guess your intensity. Now, you weaponize it. You've become the person they warned others about. Not because you're dangerous, but because you've detached from their approval. And people can't control what they can't manipulate. And they hate that you've stopped needing them. They'll try to bait you, guilt you, shame you back into place. They'll call your strength ego, your silence arrogance, your clarity cruelty. But don't flinch. Let them call you whatever helps them sleep at night. You know what you are. You know what you've endured. You know what it cost to unlearn your chains. And you know what you refuse to tolerate again. Keep moving. Let the panic rise. Let the false kings scramble. Let the noise escalate. You don't need to respond. Because every step you take is a message now. Every decision is a hammer cracking open the foundation they once stood on. They thought your revenge would be loud. But it's surgical, it's elegant. It's in the way you own every room they said you didn't belong in. It's in the way you thrive in the very pressure that broke them. You don't need to fight them. Your existence fights for you. You don't need to argue. Your presence ends arguments. You don't need to be liked. You came here to be unavoidable. They should have been scared when you went quiet. When you stopped sharing plans. When you became hard to read. That's when the shift started. That's when you stopped surviving and started sculpting. The old version of you died quietly. This one, this version, it's not interested in proving. It's here to rule the aftermath. You're not here for recognition. You're here to shift gravitational pull, to make reality itself adjust around you. They wanted a competitor, but they created a force. They poked the quiet one, and now the quiet one moves like prophecy, unapologetic, focused, irreversible. Keep moving. Don't answer the panic. Don't soothe the chaos. Don't comfort the crowd. You didn't come to manage their crisis. You came to complete your emergence. This is your cold era, your surgical chapter, your unblinking season. You're not proving anything. You are the proof. And when they ask where you came from, how you moved like this, how you predicted the collapse, they'll never understand that the answer was never hidden. The answer was in the way you watched them lie to themselves. The way you studied patterns, the way you stayed grounded when everything spun. They thought you were behind, but you were beneath. Beneath the noise, beneath the distractions, beneath the obvious. And from there, you built something no one can touch. Not a brand, not a persona, not a trend, but a presence that dismantles the room with just one step. And now that you've remembered who you are, now that the blood has surfaced and the water runs clear, what comes after the collapse won't just change the game, it will end it. And from the ashes of that ending, you won't just rise. You'll redefine what rising even means. Not a comeback, not a return, but a redesign of presence itself. You won't walk through the world anymore. The world will tilt to accommodate your steps. You've earned this gravity. You didn't take it, you became it. Through every moment they discarded you, every door they shut in your face, every time they laughed a little too loud when you failed. They didn't know. Those were repetitions, representatives, pressure, data. They wanted you erased, forgotten, normalized, but instead they trained you, brutalized you into brilliance, polished you with pain, tempered you with time. You don't even need revenge. You're beyond it. Your very existence now is an indictment of everything they chose instead of you. And here's the secret they'll never admit. They always knew. Somewhere deep in their hierarchy of hollow smiles and fragile egos, they sensed it. That you didn't belong among the obedient. That your silence wasn't weakness. It was storage. that your compliance wasn't surrender, it was camouflage. You aren't like them, never were. You don't need crowds. You bend crowds. You don't crave stages. You command presence. You were never seeking applause. You were hunting alignment. And now that you've found it, there's no more debate, no more conflict. Just execution, just results, just precision. They'll wonder how you got so far, so fast, not realizing you weren't rushing. You were restraining. And now that you've released the leash, there's nothing left to contain you. Let them reassemble their broken scripts. Let them consult outdated maps. Let them create new labels to try and box you in. But they're too late, because what they're finally seeing, the truth they tried to erase, that version of you, calm, powerful, unapologetically sharp, it's not an anomaly. It's your final form. And the world is about to find out that you didn't survive the collapse. You engineered it. You weren't caught in the fire. You lit it. You weren't lost in the chaos. You unleashed it. And every single moment they thought you were fading was the moment you were building. Silently, aggressively, strategically, underneath their arrogance, beneath their illusions, out of reach from their assumptions. You were not playing dead. You were studying decay. Now they stand in ruins, trying to count the reasons, trying to trace the origin of the fall.
That is so funny.
The origin was you, the quiet anomaly they dismissed, the variable they never calculated for. They were so obsessed with visibility, they never realized you were hiding in inevitability. Let them gather the pieces. Let them try to resurrect what they buried you under. Let them try to mimic your moves, study your silence, decode your rise. They'll never get it, because this power doesn't come from titles, or noise, or validation. It comes from survival, real survival. Not the kind where you hide, the kind where you walk through the betrayal, the drought, the silence, and come out with blood on your hands and fire in your chest. You've seen the bottom, not heard about it, tasted it, slept next to it, became one with it. You've bled in places people pretend don't exist. And yet here you are, unscarred on the outside, unshaken on the inside. That's not luck. That's not magic. That's evolution. And now the world's catching up to your storm. They thought you were cold. They thought you were detached. But what they missed is that you were preparing to reign. You don't need to conquer. You already outlived them. The moment you refused to be defined by their metrics, their noise, their applause, you surpassed them. This isn't you stepping into their world. This is you expanding yours. And the more you rise, the more they realize they were never above you. They were just louder. Now their volume means nothing. Their spotlight dimmed. Their stage collapsed. Because what you built was never public. It was foundational. Deep, dense, deliberate. And you built it with a kind of hunger that doesn't come from ambition. It comes from rage, silenced too long. That's the kind of power that can't be undone. Let them react. Let them throw shade, disguised as critique. Let them test your resolve with passive wars and backhanded noise. You don't need to respond. You've become response itself. Every step you take is a correction to their failure. Every breath, a reminder that they underestimated the wrong person. You never needed to prove them wrong. You just had to stay alive long enough to let the truth surface.
Right.
And now that it has,
because they was doing death spells like a motherfucker around this bitch.
The evidence they swore would never exist. The counterpoint to every assumption they made. You're not a chapter in their story anymore. You're the ending. You're the final sentence. The closing note. The uncomfortable truth they have to carry in silence. And here's the cruel part, the part that cuts deepest for them. You didn't just rise. You disappeared from their reach. You don't orbit their opinions. You don't chase their approval. You don't even hear their names when you walk. You moved so far past their games that even their attempts to get back in sound like echoes in a city you've already left. This is the cost of clarity, the price of transformation, the tax of elevation, and you'll pay it gladly every single day, because nothing they ever offered compares to the peace of not needing them anymore. You don't want seats at their table. You own your own domain. You don't want recognition. You are the reminder. You don't want their praise. You dismantled the pedestal. This isn't revenge. This is release from their noise, from their cage, from their
lies, from
You've
their
broken
lies.
orbit,
They
and they're just
lies and
now
they
realizing
delusions.
how far beneath you they've always been. What happens now is not a rise. It's a reign, but not a loud one, not a flashy one. A reign made of moves, not noise. Power, not posture. Presence, not performance. You're done with announcement, done with explanations, done with asking the world to understand you. Let them misunderstand. Let them fumble with fragments of your past. Let them gossip about your silence while you write entire legacies with your next breath. They can't slow you. They can't name you. They can't stop what they never saw coming. Because what you're moving with now isn't just confidence, it's clarity. And clarity is lethal in a world built on confusion. Every environment you enter, you change. Every system you walk through, you disrupt. Not by trying, but by being. By existing with purpose so loud. It doesn't even need volume. You are the reminder that the world doesn't belong to the noisiest. It belongs to the ones who listen first, then execute with fire. And this fire, it's eternal now. Because it's not rage anymore, it's rhythm. You've learned the rhythm of pressure, the pulse of transformation, the silence of strategy. And now you're moving to a beat that no one else can hear. Because it wasn't made for them. It was made for the rebuilt version of you. The version that doesn't flinch, doesn't beg, doesn't negotiate its power, doesn't dilute truth for comfort. They thought the storm made you cruel, but the storm made you clear. And clarity isn't pretty. Clarity ends relationships. Clarity destroys false identities. Clarity burns bridges with no hesitation, because it knows you can fly now. So burn them. Burn everything that anchored you to people who only valued the version of you that made them comfortable. Burn the scripts that told you to stay quiet, stay humble, stay invisible.
Stay humble.
Burn the false modesty that told you your power
Be
was
humble.
too much. It wasn't too much.
We don't want you to
real.
shine too
And now that
bright.
it's here,
We don't want you to sit
undiluted,
up too high.
unedited, unafraid. Let it
Be
lead. Let your presence
humble.
walk before your words. Let your silence crack open systems. Let your discipline become a force field. And let your next move be something no one recovers from. Because you didn't just walk through fire, you became it. You didn't just learn the game, you outlived it. You didn't just survive, you rewrote survival's definition. This is your final form, not loud, not performative, just undeniable. So move, like the legend they tried to bury, like the consequence they never calculated, like the new reality they'll spend the rest of their lives trying to adapt to. And when they finally ask, how did you do it? How did you stay calm while the world panicked? How did you thrive in what shattered us? You won't have to answer. You'll already be gone.
Which
too
world?
far
The
ahead,
3D world?
Too untouchable.
The
Too
karmics?
locked in
Is
to
that
be
who
pulled
panicked?
back. And as they look around at the ashes, they'll remember one thing. The only one who never panicked was the one who planned it all. You. The architect, the arrival, the quiet force that ended the game and never.
The one that
looked
played
back.
stupid, that played clueless, the one that they thought didn't know nothing. That one. Okay, that one. All right, all right. Now let me tell you these little downloads from these movies that have just been popping up on here. Let me tell you about the Proverbs. Proverbs. This is Proverbs right here, what I'm finna tell y'all. You're never supposed to. Now, this is no disrespect when I say this, because I know that as divine feminines and divine masculines, we mean everything when we do this for people. But you're not supposed to take, damn near, you might as well say, take homeless people or bums or people that just don't got shit. You're not supposed to take them in and just throw them into wealth. Okay? All right? You're creating a monster when you do that shit. Okay? And you're creating them to be a monster on you. Okay? With all kind of betrayal and all kind of, thieving and scammy and just all kind of stuff. I'm a firm believer. This is Proverbs and all. What I'm saying, I'm a firm believer that wherever you find people at, most of the time it's meant for them to be there until God elevate them. Sometimes God wants people to be elevated through other people, but it's very few in between. That's when you got the favor of God on you, okay? And when he lay it on someone's heart to step in and to, minister and help someone, get a leg up and help establish them. But you're not supposed to do that with everybody. And a lot of times people get in relationships with people that don't got nothing. And the very person that they thinking that if I give them everything far as, the lifestyle and all this woo, they'll be loyal to me. But no, you have to make a person earn that loyalty. They have to earn that. The same way how you earn benefits on a job. Okay? By punching the clock and putting the energy, time, effort, and all that into it. Okay? To gain the respect and gain the trust of whatever. You just don't bring them in on shit. Now, this beautiful lady, she was an entrepreneur. She was, banging, had her own money and all that. Okay? I seen so many different stories of treachery like this. I don't want to mix them up. But one story is about this woman that was a millionaire. Basically, she was a millionaire. And she brought a dude in that really didn't have too much going for itself. She brought him in and taught him how to do credit repair. Okay? And so then they opened up another business. She had her own shit already called Lux Credit Repair that was doing excellent. So then she brings him in, and then they came up with another logo called Champs Credit Report or something like that. Champs Credit something like that, like Champs Credit or Credit Champs or something like that. And he basically just backstabbed her and took everything from her. Okay? When I say he backstabbed her and took everything from her, he went behind her back and switched all the passwords, changed all the business names from theirs to his. He took all the money from the account. Then he did some fraudulent shit. Went into her personal bank account, wiped that shit clean. She was a veteran, meaning that she was in the service. She had did service too, so she was in the Air Force or either the Navy. She had got a $10,000 bonus from the military. He stole that. He sniped that from her. Okay, he thought this shit was cute what he was doing, right? 44 across the clock as I said that. He thought all this shit was cute that he did. Now, I remind you, this was a nigga that didn't have shit. And she brought him in and showed him how to, 44, I'm trying to tell you as I go across. She brought him in and showed him how to do something that he didn't know how to do to better himself. Okay? Okay? Instead of him appreciating what type of woman she was. Okay? Okay? Instead of him appreciating her. Okay? And building on a friendship and building on, loyalty, trust, respect. Like you got somebody that helps bring you from the dirt up And you betrayed him by stealing all of their money, by sniping everything from the business, changing all of the documents over to yours, like you the sole proprietary of it. What else did he do? He was being a tyrant in her energy after he had moved out. He came to the home unannounced. Okay, was banging on the door, demanding the code, talking about why you changed the code when he didn't live there no more. He wasn't even paying no mortgage, no money or nothing on the house that she stayed in. Like, I cannot make this shit up. I cannot make this shit up. Same nigga that she helped. Okay? That he got greedy. He got a little taste of something that he was never supposed to have. I cannot make this shit up about letting these motherfuckers in that ain't supposed to never have nothing. Never have nothing. Okay? Some people supposed to never have nothing. And it's proof in the pudding when they get in there and they start doing that exact shit that he did. He tried to steal her house. He basically did steal her house. All the payments that she had put on the house, he reversed 18 months of payments. And she was in the process of losing her damn home where her and her kids stay. She didn't have a penny to her name to feed them or nothing. On top, he was being a tyrant. He was putting it all in her face. He bought one of those electric cars on her name and credit and money. You know, one of those big ugly vehicles that look like a space vehicle or whatever. Okay, they're just very fucking expensive. He was doing all kind of shit. Well, she said one day she woke up, she said today was the day that she wasn't going to take no more of this bullshit. She went into the barbershop while that nigga was in there getting his hair and his beard cut. And she shot that nigga dead right there. Shot that nigga dead right there. Okay? Which he brought that shit on himself for being so fucking greedy and taking everything and didn't give a fuck about her and her kids. Okay? This was a breaking point for her. Okay? Okay? Not saying that what she did was right, but what do you expect when you steal and snipe for everything from somebody, including all their personal money? That ain't even got nothing to do with nothing. So you just being a whole tyrant and a dog. A whole beast. Okay? Sound like a beast that need to be taken down. Period. She went in there and shot that nigga dead while he was there. Unalived him. Okay? After she did that, she tried to leave out of the barbershop. This is where it gets sour at. And she ran back in and then she killed herself. Okay? Alright? So now her kids don't have a mama. And they have to live with that tragedy of what happened. She was a bad bitch too. I'm not gonna lie to you, collective. I'm tired of these bad bitches going down for these clowns. Okay? No bad bitch go down for a clown. Stop trying to build a motherfucking man. The same way you built yourself up is the same way he has to build himself up. That is not your job to do that and then let that motherfucker get a leg up on you and then betray you and then steal and rob and take every fucking thing that you ever built up. Okay? Vice versa if it's a man. Same thing. You don't let no broad that didn't put no energy and no effort into your shit come in and just rob and steal and just take every damn thing from you. Trusting and believing that this is some broad that's gonna be truth and nail. Do you know how few in between that is? You only gonna find few in between that you can really do that type of shit with, and it won't be no consequences behind it. This have to be divinely led and divinely guided, like when Boaz picked Ruth. Okay? Like when the king picked Esther. Okay? These wasn't just no any type of women. Okay? These were special divine feminines. Okay? That only answered and respected and honored God. They was holy and sanctified. Okay? All right? And if you don't have no relationship with God and you're not holy and sanctified, meaning that you don't practice some kind of ritual where you're doing something with him, where you can discern the difference of what's really of him and what's not, This is the kind of tragedies that's going to happen. Okay? All right, these is the type of tragedies going to happen. That was awful. Okay? That was awful what that guy had did to her. It was awful that he died the way he died and she died the way she died. But what else was there going to be left to do when he took everything from her, even made her house car? She couldn't make a payment on nothing. She couldn't feed them. If she wanted to go out and get ramen noodles, she couldn't. Because he had stole all of her money and took everything. Like, oh my God. You got to really proof safe and really have your I's and T's dotted, okay? Because it's a vicious game out here. You got to really make sure your shit is secured with lawyers, okay? With all kind of documents over your shit, okay? And make sure that that stuff is not connected to no relationship, because it seems to tend to be that people are mostly emotionally attached to money and material shit. That second house Taurus. People are really attached to that shit. They more attached to that shit than their own damn soul. They more attached to that shit than they is to God. They more attached to that shit than they is, you know what I'm saying, to their mama, to their daddy, to their, you know, like, they sell their soul, okay? They act like Gentiles and they chase it, okay? And do all kind of crazy shit to get it. And it's just a damn crime shame that it's only a handful of people that won't do that, okay? All right, and them the handful of people that I pray to God link up and get together and build legacies. Them the handful of people that I pray to God be delivered, saved, be given favor. You know what I'm saying? But everyone else that I'm supposed to, I'm sorry. Okay? All right. I suggest you get on that fucking line and get to working, because some people, it's meant for you to go through the shit you got to go through so that you can appreciate the things that God give you, and you don't do them type of things like that. You know, steal and just take everything from a person, especially a person that helped build you up from the dirt up. Instead of you just taking your losses and taking what you gain and then going somewhere else and building over there, you want to start throwing jabs and dabs, and it's just crazy to me how people be doing, people that be giving them just straight lifelines, like straight just lifelines, but then you won't even give your family a lifeline. You won't even give somebody that you should a lifeline, but then you sit up and give somebody a lifeline that shouldn't, and then that same lifeline, they taking the rope and trying to choke you with it as they get up on the landing. They trying to choke you with the same lifeline that you gave to them to help them up. They returning it by choking you with it. Like, so it just goes to show you better be careful who you break bread with, who you help, and all that, because like I said it before in the reading, there's some people that are trifling, there are heathens, they meant to just be exactly what they is. Some people is not even worth the crumbs off of the king's table. Like, I can't make it up what he did. That was dead ass wrong. Now then this other situation. What was this other situation? Basically the dude just was mad. Oh, this other situation. Okay, there was a beautiful girl. She was from Nigeria, okay? All right, this dude was buying her everything. He was diming her down, like baby dolling her down, whining and dining like the finest restaurants, the finest everything. Well, to make a long story short, he was very obsessed with this girl. He thought he owned this girl. He thought he had a right for her to, you know, give him not only location, but he want pictures of where the fuck she at. But this is the attitude, and this is what it is. When they spending all that kind of money on you and they doing all the shit that they do, they think they entitled to treat you as a thing, treat you like a thing or an object or some kind of possession. So it just go to show, to say, how much are you worth for somebody to just be abusing and treating you any old kind of crazy way? Well, make a long story short, I guess, you know, she was fighting with the dude, or he was jealous, or I don't know, some kind of incident happened where she knew that some shit had popped off between them and it wasn't going to be good. And all I know is she ended up deceased in her own place. Okay, he stabbed her multiple times and then said he accidentally did it. Okay, you don't accidentally do that. He mutilated her. Okay, like no, he was very envious, obsessed. He was possessive, obsessed, envious of her, and all of that. She was very beautiful. Okay, all right. Well, he ended his life, her life at 26. That's too young to be doing that. But he tried to go on the run because he had a lot of money. So he went on the run for a minute. He thought he was going to, be able to escape. But no, he didn't. They ended up catching him and giving him long lifetime or whatever, whatnot. He tried to, wanted people to feel pity for him. So he told the whole, he confessed on Facebook, YouTube, or whatever. Facebook, Instagram, one of those, what he did, all that. That ultimately buried him in court. Okay, because he basically confessed of doing it and talking about it was a mistake. No, it wasn't. It was intentional. Okay, it was intentional. It was because he felt he had a right to do that, and it's because he was spending a lot of money on her and shit like that. It's just, you got to be careful, pick and choose your battles and pick and choose, gifts and what you accept, and all that, because some people look at it as they think they got possession to just treat you. They look at it like they got some kind of right to just treat you like any old fucking thing, because they spending a lot of money on you, like they own you, like you literally is something on the wall or a painting on the wall that they can take and throw, or I don't know. But he did that to her and then went to jail for a really long time. Okay? It was so many different ones I was watching. I don't want to mix them all up, but this shit was very sad. Okay? Yeah, that was very sad. It was this one, if y'all want to go see it, it's called Homicide Crime Cases. Her lavish BF killed her, okay, and left her body mutilated after. So she was beautiful, okay. It's crazy. Then you got the husband. The husband exed his wife for disrespecting him in public. I think that's crazy that you would do that to your wife. Okay. Then this employee, she kills her manager because she disrespected her and was treating her, kept ostracizing her and bullying her and sending her home and all that. She came back and unlived her with a knife. Okay, 14 times, and left that woman's 6 kids now mourn the death of their mom that's never coming home. This is the type of stuff that these karmics be doing. Okay? They keep constantly getting readings, and the reader is identifying them as doing black magic on the very person that they keep asking about. Okay? Like, I don't know what you think. You can go get a reading. You think the shit you doing is not going to come up in the reading. If you sitting up here doing black magic on somebody, then going trying to get a reading on them, quite naturally, the reader going to pick that up, that you're doing magic. And knowing exactly who's doing it. Okay? I just think it's stupid of you. Okay? Whoever try to harm a chosen one, okay? The law of return is severe. The law of return, it coming back to you, this shit is severe. Now this one case that I want y'all to see, it's called The Real Story Behind the Barbershop Incident. It's under the Unheard Cries TV. This dude was a straight demon, and she shouldn't have never helped this cat. She shouldn't have never helped this cat learn nothing about no taxes. Nothing about no taxes or nothing about credit or nothing, because the very thing that she taught him was the very thing that he used on her. He used it on her and he did her dirty, so it just goes back to that she should have never ever helped him or brought him nowhere around her shit, what she was doing. Once she knew what his shit was, what was going on, what was going on with him, she should have left that bitch right where he was at, and she should have just moved on to a dude that was on her level, on her speed, where she was at. She should have went with a dude that was able to match her where she was at, or something like that. But other than that, She shouldn't have never introduced that dude to that life because it was too much for him. Okay? It was too much for him. Father God wants you to pack your bags because you're moving. You moving from the land. This could be spiritually, this could be physically, you know, or all above. Okay? He feel like your energy and where you at, okay, it don't match your land, it don't match the living where you at, it don't, your vibrations, the energy, the air, all of that shit do not match where you, who you are, the energy that you in, none of that shit where you at, it don't match. It don't match, it don't go. It don't go. It's time to go. So he's setting it up so you can go because the energy is not matching with you. It don't go with you. You got to get in lighter energy, cleaner energy, all of that good shit because, you know, there's places that we need to go that our DNA activation inside of us, that shit, that city, that everything about it, it comes alive when you step foot. When your foot steps down on that land, some type of DNA activation code is going to spark throughout that whole city, state, town. It's like that type of shit going on. Okay? Can't make it up. Okay, we talking about holy ground, baby. Holy ground, baby. Yeah. Cannot make it up. Okay? Cannot make it up. Okay? Something massive just happened. Okay? To your enemies, they crying like a mug. Okay? Because the spirit is going in, cleaning up. There are multiple arrests going on right now. Okay? There are multiple people being arrested. Okay? Okay, all of that shit is going on. Okay? Cannot make it up, okay? I cannot make it up. This is what we got. I'm going to leave it right here. Okay? This is your little update. Okay? Like, share, thumb up the video. Appreciate everyone that do. Okay? I'll come back with another reading. One love. Like, share, thumb up the video. Appreciate everyone that support me. I support you. One love.